Hello, I'm Edgar Miranda. I have been waiting a long time for something to make me feel just a little bit of what Smallville made me feel before it ended 10 years ago. And not 1 minute into the pilot episode, and I already had a big smile on my face. Unfortunately, it accompanied me throughout the episode. In fact, at the time I'm recording this, 24 hours later, I'm still smiling. Good people of YouTube, welcome. If this is your first time here, please know I've been expecting you. Click subscribe, hit the bell, and take a seat. Let me entertain you. Clark has been Superman for years. He's married to Lois, and they live in Metropolis with their 2 grown teenage boys, Jonathan and Jordan. However, things go from bad to worse when, after being fired from the Daily Planet, recently acquired by Morgan Edge, Clark receives the worst call that one could possibly get. And already troubled by the possibility that John may develop powers, and the state of his relationship or lack thereof with Jordan, when Clark ponders about the last conversation he had with his mother and the last words she said to him, he and Lois decides that staying in Smallville could be exactly what their family needs right now. But of course, that doesn't mean trouble won't find a way into their life. Because after all, the world will always need Superman. Big spoiler. I loved this episode. It felt just like when you run into an old friend that you hadn't seen in a while, but when you start talking, it's like no time has passed. Just like that. From the very beginning, you get a sense of who this Superman is, where he came from, and how he got to where he is when the story starts. Tyler Hoechlin's portrayal of Superman is fantastic, second only to his portrayal of Clark. From his bumbling self when he met Lois, to that older Clark that finds himself back in Smallville with his family. Bitsie Tulloch's Lois Lane is also great. She has that fearless edge that you always see in Lois, but with a motherly, softer touch with her kids. And she doesn't have to look like Margot Kidder, but in some pictures, they look alike. Like a lot. The flashback scene where they meet, although short, is one of the highlights of the episode, and later, their dynamic together as a seasoned couple is so good that I almost wanna go back and see them in the previous CW shows. Almost. Dylan Walsh is, not surprisingly, superb in the role of Sam Lane, and I really like the new dynamic between him and Clark.
Been putting in a lot of OT lately. My daughter okay with that? I was thinking I'd take Jonathan fishing, maybe even get Jordan to come this time.
Talk to Lois about some dates.
But what did surprise me was Jonathan and Jordan. I wasn't expecting to be so invested in their story, especially Jordan's. But going along with them, discovering their dad is Superman, and what impact that will have in their lives, their relationship with Clark and Lois, was the heart of the episode. The whole family dynamic and their adjustment to living in Smallville, that personal story, like with the comics, was the most compelling for me, to the point that when the obligatory bad guy shows up and he and Superman fight all the way to Asia, then to space and back, which is a big flex of the type of budget this show has, I kinda wanted the fight to end quickly so that they could get back to Smallville. Honestly, I think that is the highest praise I can give the show. Also, a few things I picked up. The Kryptonian birthing matrix that is not often seen, least of all in live action. I think this is a reference to the original rocket ship from the comics. Action Comics #1 and Superman for all seasons, also a highlight. It really screams Superman to me, but on second thought, the whole episode was a highlight. Perry White's cameo, the mention of the Metropolis meteors. I also like that they get married in Smallville. Sam Lane's happy face at the wedding, although we learn the reason in the episode itself. Jordan's diagnosis of social anxiety disorder, that doesn't fit with him going to the party later. Of course Jonathan has powers. Superman going to an explosion at Ace Chemical. You know, this Ace Chemical. A shuttle launch, a nod to the Man of Steel comics from 1986, and Superman Returns. Also, there's a TV broadcast of the Daily Planet News, Injustice Gods Among Us, which means that Mortal Kombat is part of this universe.
Get over here!
Dr. Donner, Siegel, and Shuster. This Longan look is gonna bring you trouble, and Lana never knew that Clark was Superman. That's a first. Also, Pete Ross exists.
So, Pete was at the wheel.
Sam Lane's jokes about a phone booth. Is this orange crystal the equivalent of this green crystal? Superman has super smell, something that is not often mentioned. This is not social anxiety disorder, and she definitely kissed him back. That Jonathan gets beaten does not mean that he will not develop powers later. Nice. And the stranger is Luthor from another Earth, but they never mention Lex. In conclusion, I've seen many iterations of Superman at many stages in my life, but being myself a father with 2 boys, knowing the hardships of fatherhood, sharing that with this depiction of Superman, as a lifelong Superman fan, is quite the experience. I love this episode, and if the cinematic level of quality with which it was introduced to us is an indication of things to come, I cannot wait to spend years with this show. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, maybe check another one.
I shouldn't.
Come on.
Do it.
See you next time.
The world will always need Superman, but right now this family needs you more.